Yo, what's up, everybody? Today we're going back in time, back to a pivotal moment in American history, March 7th, 1965, a day forever etched in our memories as Bloody Sunday. This wasn't just another Sunday, this was a day when ordinary people decided they'd had enough. They were tired of being denied their right to vote simply because of the color of their skin. See, in Selma, Alabama, things were rough. Black folks were treated like second-class citizens. They were prevented from registering to vote through intimidation and violence. It was messed up, so they decided to march, about 50 miles from Selma to Montgomery, the state capital. The goal, to demand their voting rights. This was the Selma to Montgomery March, a powerful testament to the human spirit's unyielding desire for freedom and equality. The march was organized by local black leaders alongside activists from the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC. They were led by courageous individuals like Hosea Williams and a young John Lewis, who would later become a congressman. Now, you might be thinking, a march? What's the big deal? But back then, this was huge. Remember, this was the Deep South in the 1960s. Racism was rampant, and these folks knew they were putting their lives on the line for a better future. Picture this, hundreds of peaceful protesters armed with nothing but hope and the American flag. They reached the Edmund Pettus Bridge, a steel archway that would become a symbol of their struggle. But waiting for them on the other side? A wall of state troopers armed to the teeth and ready to unleash hell. As the marchers crossed the bridge, the troopers attacked. Tear gas filled the air, stinging eyes and choking lungs. The sickening thud of billy clubs against flesh echoed through the streets. Horses were even used to trample the protesters. It was a bloodbath. The brutality was captured on national television, shocking America and the world. This wasn't happening in some far-off land. This was America, the supposed beacon of democracy, unleashing violence on its own citizens for demanding their basic rights. One of the most iconic images from that day is of a young John Lewis, his skull fractured by a trooper's club, blood streaming down his face. He was brutally beaten, yet his spirit remained unbroken. Later, he would say, "I thought I saw death. I thought I was going to die." Even in the face of such horrific violence, John Lewis and the other marchers showed incredible courage and resilience. They knew the risks, yet they marched on, their determination fueled by the belief that a better future was possible. They were willing to put their bodies on the line for the cause. They knew that freedom isn't free. It comes at a cost, and they were willing to pay that price. Section 4, the aftermath, from tragedy to triumph. The events of Bloody Sunday sparked national outrage. People from all walks of life were horrified by the images they saw on their TV screens. This wasn't just about Selma anymore. This was about the soul of America. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., moved by the sacrifices made in Selma, traveled there to join the movement. He called for a renewed push for voting rights and organized another march, this time protected by federal troops. The world watched as thousands marched from Selma to Montgomery, culminating in a rally at the state capitol. The pressure mounted on President Lyndon B. Johnson, who could no longer ignore the calls for justice. Finally, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act of 1965, outlawing discriminatory voting practices and ensuring equal access to the ballot box. Section 5, the legacy of Bloody Sunday, a continuing struggle for justice. Bloody Sunday was a turning point in the civil rights movement. It showed the world the brutal reality of segregation and the lengths to which some would go to maintain it. But it also showcased the indomitable spirit of those fighting for justice. Every year, on the anniversary of Bloody Sunday, people from across the country retrace the steps of those brave marchers. It's a powerful reminder that the fight for equality is far from over. Bloody Sunday wasn't just about voting rights, it was about human rights. It was about the idea that all people are created equal and deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. It's a lesson we must never forget. Stay woke, people, stay woke.